everyone, Connie Stewart with SimplySimpleStamping.com, back with another video in my series called Flashcards. Today's card is just a really pretty elegant wedding card where I use the flashcard template to create a real pretty little wedding cake. Let's get started with today's card. As always, I'm going to begin with my flashcard template. If you've not watched the first video on flashcards explaining the template, I encourage you to take a moment to go over to YouTube and search Connie Stewart flashcards, and that video should show up, should be the first one. I'm going to be using Pool Party and Whisper White as my flashcard template and Pool Party as my card base. My card base is 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4, so it is a standard size card. All right, I'm going to start now with my Whisper White, and what I want to do is I want to begin by stamping on that, which through the magic of television I've already done. I use the Creative Elements stamp set from Stampin' Up!, one of my favorites. I've stamped on that, and now I'm going to want to trim that down. And I've got a little diagram here to hopefully make it very easy for you. But what I've done is I've cut it off at 1 inch, 1 1/4, and 1 1/2. So I hope those measurements are easy for you to remember, just 1, 1 1/4, and 1 1/2. Just move in 1/4 increments. But then the 1 inch piece, I want you to cut it 1 inch off the side. And the 1 1/2 inch piece, cut 1/2 inch off the side. Again, hopefully that'll make it easy for you to remember. There's going to be a little scrap here. We don't need it. This little 1/2 inch piece, we don't need that either. So let's go ahead and bring in those pieces already cut. Now you see I did come along with a corner rounder and I rounded off the edges. Let me go ahead and get this last one. I did that because I don't know too many wedding cakes that are square. So now we've got our nice little pieces there. Let's adhere this together. I'm going to just put some snail adhesive on there and try to line these up really well as I do it upside down. And my next piece. And you can see they kind of get smaller as they go. My last one. All right, now my cake's a little drab. I think it desperately needs some frosting. So let me come in now with my flashcard piece here in Pool Party and the scallop trim border punch. And I'm going to be punching on the short side. So let's punch this out real quick. I've got that great little border. And I'm going to come in with my paper trimmer. And what I want you to do is cut that off at 3/8 of an inch. I've just lined up those scallops at the 3/8 of an inch, and I cut that off. You're now going to repeat that process. Come back in, punch again. You're going to do that 3 times until you have something like this. Well, if I can pick up that last one. There we go. Now we're going to use these to decorate our little cake. So I'm going to just line it up the bottom. So there's my first one. I'm going to take the next one, and what I'd like you to do is line it up right on, don't overlap on top of, you know, that other layer, but just come right on top of it. You'll see why here in a minute. Let me put my last one on, because when we get those on there and we come in to trim these away, if I had covered up that little section there, I wouldn't have been able to trim. So it is important to just go right to that next, just right up against the line. Now I need a little bit more to go right here, and this piece that I just trimmed off turned out to be just the right size to come in. Oh, my top layer is a little crooked, and you know, that's just going to drive me insane. Let me see if I can fix that real quick. You know what? For the sake of this video, I'm not going to do it, but you know it'll drive me nuts. Okay, so there, let's trim off that last little bit. All right, so now our cake's looking much more like a wedding cake. So I'm going to just set that aside while I work now on my sentiment. Now I've punched all those pieces off. This is now the piece of a flashcard that's left. That's what's remaining. So we want to stamp on that. I did that for you in advance. I stamped the Happy I Do Day from Wordplay, also a Stampin' Up! Stamp set, and because I really desperately needed some white on this card, but I used up all my flashcard white, so what to do? Well, I embossed it in white. So I stamped it in Versamark and sprinkled it with white embossing powder and used my heat gun to set that. So that's been done. I'm going to then bring in my Labels Collection framelit, lay that on there. I'm going to run that through my Big Shot die cutting machine so that I get a nice little cute cutout. It's going to look like this. I'm going to come in too with a sponge and some Pool Party ink and sponge up the edges of that. So now that's ready to go. Now, you know, after I cut that out, I am going to have just a little bit left. So I thought, let's make a little wedding topper. And so I'm just going to come in on those last little edges there, and I'm going to cut out a couple little hearts. I'm going to sponge those as well so that I have that, and that'll be my little cake topper when I go to put everything together. So now we need to make that card look beautiful. So I took the Lacy Brocade embossing folder and ran my cardstock through the Big Shot embossing, the Big Shot die cutting machine to get this great technique. Again, sponge the edges. I then sponge over some of that texture to really make it pop. It's looking great. Well, let's come in and add our cake. For the sake of time, I'm just going to add a couple dimensionals. I would encourage you to do more. So just to make sure that sticks really good, because you know brides, they're going to keep these cards forever. So let's adhere our beautiful cake. I'm going to come in now. Those are those little hearts that I cut out. Let's add our little cake topper. And then I can come in now with my Happy I Do Day. And we're going to add our little sentiment right here. And you know what? I think this card, that little ring, I don't know about you, that ring needs some bling. So I'm going to come in with the self-adhesive rhinestones. Oh my gosh, these are the best. I love that I don't have to deal with trying to put glue on the back of these. So we're going to adhere that right there. I know what you're thinking. Connie, go for the big stone. Get that big rock in there. You know what? Oops, that one didn't stick. I'm so sorry about that. That's what I get for trying to do it with my nails. I usually come in with a paper piercer. There we go. But yeah, I tried to use the bigger stone because, you know, it's a girl thing. We like the big rock, don't we? It was actually a little too much. So I'm going to go with the medium one on that. And there's our gorgeous card. I thought I'd also come in and show you actually the first card that I designed out of this one. And it really is pretty much just the opposite. On this card, I embossed the cake and stamped the background. On this one, I stamped the cake and embossed the card. So just a little bit different, but it's a fun way to show you two ways to make that great card. I think this would also make a great birthday cake if you did it in some different colors. It would be a really, really fun card. So thanks so much for tuning in to my video today. I hope you'll continue to tune in to the flashcard series. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.